observe this emotional moment. Here we go.
Welcome, 10th of January to the Long Distance Playbook. How's my boy Jeff doing?
All good here in nice, sunny, warm Tampa, Florida.
I hear you. Chris, how you doing?
I'm freezing.
Same here, bro. Hey, I'll be at the house at your place, but we're supposed to be getting ice. I ain't hitting the road, man. All right. And we have a special show for you today. We have our guest. You can probably see him in the corner. We're going to introduce him in here in a little bit. We're going to start the show off like we always do with honors of the week. All right. The honors of the week on this show. We have Myles Garrett. He broke the single season sack record. Our next, and a lot of people question this one, but that's okay. I'll explain it in a minute. Luke Littler, he won the PDC World Darts Championship of 2026. The reason why that's important, he's now the youngest champion in darts history. And then right after he won, he signed a historic, record-breaking 20 million pound deal.
For throwing darts?
For throwing darts.
I missed my call in life.
Hey, Jeff.
Absolutely.
Just so you understand, right? Darts is huge over here.
No, I get it. I understand. But 20 million to throw darts?
Yeah,
Man,
he's 18, by the way.
He was a super underdog.
Yep. All right. Our next one. It's always an honor, but unfortunately, NFL Hall of Fame goalie Glenn Hall passed away on the 8th of January. From the Long Distance Playbook to his family and friends, we give our condolences. All right. Now, we would like to welcome our guest. Our guest is someone who truly lived in the trenches of the NFL, a man who lined up every Sunday against the best pass rushers and defenders in the world, protecting quarterbacks and paving the way for running games at the highest level of football. Please give me a round of applause and introduce our guest, Mr. Wally Williams.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I like the horns. I like the horns. Let the intro come out in the tunnel like that. I like that. Appreciate you guys for that, man.
Absolutely.
It's a great honor to have you on here because I don't feel so old no more because me and you are close in age. Everybody else is with two babies. So I'm gonna start the questions off. You played college ball at HBCU, Florida A&M. Can you tell us your best moment on the field and off the field? And what? Just where I've been, I know where Florida A&M is. But for our viewers, can you tell them where Florida A&M is at, actually?
Sure, love to. Florida A&M is in Tallahassee, Florida. I know it's probably the name that is more synonymous with, Tallahassee is as far as college football goes, is Florida State, but we share the same city. We're in close proximity of each other, right across the street, actually. It's a street splits the university in half, and look, for me to attend FAMU and play there, you got to understand that going to that HBCU and what that is to my family. It's part of the culture, it's part of our lifestyle. I'm not in a situation where I'm the only child to go to college. For my family, I grew up around PhDs and actually teachers and educators. I'm the crazy kid who decided to play football and not teach and go into education. So, it was a long line of people that I followed, and and they just afforded me a lot of luxuries to go to school there and be a part of that history that was laid down for my family. So I think the number one thing is to kind of be a part of that legacy, that family legacy, to be a part of that, and say I was something that my parents wanted me to do, and I'm part of their history. And I think the next thing at FAMU that probably kept me focused the entire time was probably my driving force was being coached by Coach Ken Riley. Coach Ken Riley was a player that played at Florida A&M long before I did, and he actually went to school there with my parents. And he played 16 years in the NFL, and somebody that I admired and being a part of that culture, that I knew his career and knew actually what he did on the field as a coach, and knew that he was also a Rhodes Scholar off the field academically. So it's a great thing to follow behind, and then have an opportunity to be a part of that and to play for that coach. I think those things were, again, I look back at those things now. I cherish those things a lot about being at FAMU.
Okay.
So picking up a little bit from that, obviously we've all heard of Deacon Jones and Jerry Rice, Art Shell, Walter Payton, players from HBCUs that made it to the NFL. When you went to FAMU, did you think that you'd be able to make it into the NFL?
It's a dream. You want to believe that you can compete. I think the thing that gave me, some confidence there is, we had a pretty solid program at FAMU. And when you have a coach who actually played 16 years in the NFL, he can make phone calls and people come by, to see, the players that he has. And we had a pretty good flow of that. Scouts came by. We had guys that was consistently, drafted or given opportunities to play. So you had things to measure up to. I was rated very highly coming out of high school. Actually, I was recruited very highly coming out of high school and had committed to another university. So I felt that there was a skill there. I just felt that I needed to be in the right situation and given the right opportunities and then perform. And we just see where the chips fall. But we all understand that playing at an HBCU school is very hard to come out of, and we don't have a lot of draft picks to come out of there. We do have guys with many success, a lot of success. I mean, Michael Strahan was a guy who played during the same era that I did, and he was drafted in the second round. So there are guys that do have success. I just had to go a different route, and it ended up working out for me in the end.
So I'm gonna hit you with an off the wall question, but if you don't want to answer, don't. You really stayed at home because you wanted mama cooking. Tell the truth.
Well, look. I did feel this, and this is a strange place for a homeboy to be in. I felt that either way it worked out, I was in one of the best programs in the country, whether it was at Florida State or whether it was at Florida A&M. So as far as me going outside of the city, and as my dad say, why would you want to go out of town when you could be the king right here in the city that you were born in? I just wanted to be king. So that was the deal. Yeah. Be king and get mama cooking.
Nothing wrong with that. Hey, sir, so you were drafted by the Cleveland Browns, the old Cleveland Browns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us what it was like playing for those the loyal fans up there?
Well, the first I was undrafted, so I had to sit back and look at the entire draft and not hear my name called. But the opportunity still came when they gave me a call and said we'd like for you to still be a part of our organization as an undrafted free agent. Playing for the Browns and playing for those fans is very unique. It's not a team. It's not an organization that has a lot of style, as you may say, a lot of swagger, as a lot of organizations may have, maybe not the coolest uniforms. That brown and orange can look crazy sometimes, but it grows on you. It grows on you because those fans, they really, really galvanize around that team in that city. It is a blue collar city, and those fans are out there, rain, sleet, or snow. We don't have a lot of history in winning with the Browns, and unless you go back to the Jim Brown days and the Otto Graham days when they won a lot of championships. during the early NFL days. So we haven't had a lot of success since. I mean, we left there. My last season there was 1995 when we moved to Baltimore, and we won a playoff game right before then. I think we won a total of maybe 2 or 3 playoff games since 94. So not a lot of winning, but the fans there are going to show up. You know, you have a quarterback there now and Shador who has a lot of swagger with him, and the fans are going to jump around that and galvanize around that quarterback and that team because that's what they want. They want a winner, and you're never going to get rid of those Cleveland Brown fans in those brown and orange uniforms. Okay, it is a weird relationship, and they love that dog pound. The colder it gets, the louder they get. So you're going to have that kind of support in Cleveland, no doubt about it.
Okay, some don't know, but you were there during the Bill Belichick Cleveland era.
Mhm.
Did he show his brilliance there as well, or did he have to grow to be who he was? Well, I ain't gonna say was because that sounds kind of bad. Who he is as a coach. As a coach.
Yeah, I think that you know what we saw with Bill during that time. You know, he's a young coach, 38 years old. You know, under 40, and you know, we knew, or I definitely knew that there was a work ethic there that I had never been a part of, and that's the steps in making you know the jump from college to pro. Even though fundamentally we had some things that I had at Florida A&M because you know, like I said, Coach Riley had come from being in the NFL himself. He had been a coach in the NFL and then came from being a coach at the Green Bay Packers and then the head coach at Florida A&M. So there was a foundation of coaching there that was familiar. But when you start getting to the details of coaching, you know, details in your operation, you know, timing, you know, little things that you may not think embody your mental conception of what the IQ is of the game strategically. All these things, offense, defense, special teams, how everything ties in and everything must be done at a certain level. And most importantly, he has a book out. Everybody do your job. Don't worry about his job over here. Do yours. Okay. And everything will work out. Knowing that where everybody's supposed to be, but most importantly, do your job. You know, when you understand things like that and kind of are able to put the blinders on and play the game the right way, yeah, that was a little different for me. That was a little different because you have to take care of all these other things. But as a pro, you do your job. And that's what that organization taught me. And definitely with playing for Coach Belichick. Okay. Do your job. You won't hear my voice. If you don't do your job, well, you know, there's a problem. And as a business and as an individual hire, when you become a pro, you really have to understand how that works within the team concept.
So I guess in 2020, in 2001, you got to
Mhm.
play next to Willie Roaf, who is widely regarded as one of the greatest offensive tackles of all time.
Yes.
So, what was it like playing next to him? And was he as athletic as we've heard the stories? I mean, we see and we've heard how dominant he is.
Uh-huh.
But you played next to him. You tell us.
Yeah, as athletic, as publicized, and maybe more. You know, a very fortunate situation for me where I got a chance to play next to two, you know, back-to-back Hall of Fame tackles. I played against with Jonathan Ogden for 3 years in Baltimore, and then came and played with Willie Roaf another 3 years in New Orleans. And you know, even comparing the two, because arguably, you know, one or two, which one you want to choose,
Well, I was going to
and
ask you.
which you know it's hard to choose because it had to depend on what kind of game you like. Okay, and you know playing next to Jo is as smooth as they can possibly be. I mean, he's 6'8", long and athletic, great feet, great balance. You know, tremendous football IQ, understands the game and understands things before it happens. So playing against with that guy, you know, is very easy communicating and all those things like that. With Willie Roaf. Willie is a monster. Okay, he will beat you up. He will pound you. It's loud. It's a lot of noise over there. It's rumbling on the ground. It's him yelling and screaming and you know. So you know, hey, you can win games with both, but it's your choice. Who would you want to go down a dark alley with? You probably want to say Willie. Okay. Okay. All right. Who you want to go, to the show with and dress nice and then smother everybody? It's probably J.O. So, so it just all depends on what you like that particular day. But both guys are tremendously good. Both guys are tremendously athletic. And hey, it's hard to choose, which one to just. It's just how you're feeling, man. They're gonna give you the super sauce either way.
Well, we're gonna
Man,
flip that a little bit, Mr. Willie. You mostly dealt with interior defensive linemen, right?
Oh yeah.
Which one really jumps out at you at being tough to handle for 4 quarters, or who was the most competitive one on the that you had to go?
Who was your problem? Who was your problem?
Yeah. It's easy, to say some names. I can drop some names of some guys that, hey, they're gonna that John Randall is gonna be a headache. Okay. That Warren Sapp is gonna be a headache, But to me, those guys were blockable guys. Okay. The guys that were more problematic for me were the guys like the Ted Washingtons of the world, okay? The Dan Salamuas of the world, big, strong, Gilbert Brown, nose guard for the Green Bay Packers, okay?
That was
a big boy. That was a big boy.
Look, they say, I can block 290. You understand what I'm saying? I'm strong enough to handle that. Everybody's going to give you problems and get a sack. Oh, okay, whatever. You guys make millions of dollars. It's all good. But when you're blocking somebody that's 360 pounds and you're hitting his big ass, 80 plays a game, okay, those are the things that end your career. You see what I'm saying? and those are the guys that, to me, that have always been very problematic, and because they're big, strong, wide guys that take up a tremendous amount of space. And, hey, pushing 350 on your back hurts in any scenario. So, yeah, those were the guys that, to me, that were very problematic and caused a lot of drama. I'm looking at my buddies, I'm saying, help, hey, help, let's go. I need help with this one. All right. Now, this is not going to be a 60-minute thing by myself with this guy, So, yeah, those guys are the ones, man, those big, fat, two-gap guys that took up a lot of space.
We got a question from our other co-host. He's tuning in via YouTube. Did you ever do a Eastern Motors commercial in Baltimore?
Yes, I think I did. I think I did. That was the thing to do in Baltimore.
Yes, it was.
At Eastern Motors. Hey.
And the words were always off with the video.
Every time.
Knew it. Yes, sir.
It was hey, DMV comedy. Come on, man.
DMV comedy. Yes, sir.
So I have a two-part question. If you had a chance to steer student football athletes coming out of high school, what would the top 3 things you would tell them about the next phase of their life, their football career?
Oh, come out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's funny you asked that question because I'm gonna give a shout out to my school down here in Tallahassee because I coach high school football.
Oh.
And I coach at FSU school down here, which I didn't go to school there. So, my school is Tallahassee Rickers High School, so I got to give those guys a shout out too. But my coaches and the guys that raised me down here in Tallahassee coach there. My head coach in high school is there. His son is the head coach now. He was my ball boy when I was, playing during that time. So, I'm back home with family, and I'm back home in a familiar space with the people and the men that helped me make some decisions early on in my career. So I'll say this about that. The first thing I tell these kids is that you all suck, first of all. All you kids suck. None of you kids know a damn thing about football. And I say this to my kids right now. So I hope you take this opportunity to learn as much as you can. Okay. And understand that this game takes many twists and turns. And it's more about understanding the concepts of football and how you're able to develop yourself, other than telling me how good you are as a wide receiver or offensive lineman and stuff like that. You don't know what you're going to play. Okay. What you do is learn the game. Okay. I played inside linebacker in high school. I didn't play a damn down an inside linebacker in the pros. Okay. So learn the game first. I don't want to hear anything about how good you are. I don't care. Okay. It doesn't matter how good you are right now. It matters how good you are maybe 8 years from now, if you still want to even play football. So, you guys stink, first of all. Okay. Get your grades. Okay. Understand that you will have your academic concept and your mental capacity much longer than this game. Okay, and understand that when you're developing your mental and developing other spaces in your life, you're able to see things differently because there's many elements of football that you can actually be involved in and make money in, much like in the media, much like in marketing. There are other things that you can educate your mind on and expand, even as a player. Okay, developing social concepts, doing things in AI. All these things are surrounding athletics right now. So don't be just caught up into just being a player like me. You can be a coach. You can be a scout. You can be in training and athletic. You can be in many different areas of sports and make a huge living. So don't put yourself in one breadbasket and say, I just want to be an athlete. Okay. And the last and most important thing to me, to any student athlete who wants to come out there and do these things, is that you are not bigger than the game. These NIL deals and all these things that you think you guys are getting, okay,
Man.
there's a false pretense to it, okay? There's a false underlining to it because the money will come if you take care of A and B, okay? So if you do those things, all right, the game and the money will come, all right? Doesn't matter NILs going from school to school to school. It's actually a detriment to your career because we as coaches now, we know that you kids want the bag. Okay. And I don't know if you want the toughness. I don't know if you want me to punch you in your mouth and then see what's going to happen next because you want the bag first.
So you just took my next question. I appreciate that. You just took on my next question. So I know I'm cutting you off a little bit, but I want to get this in while we on the topic.
Yes.
What do you think about the transfer portal?
Oh man, that look, it's the biggest misconception of college football. It's the biggest misleading point to these kids to think that, because you don't start, you're going to go. And it's our fault. You know what? It's our fault. It's my fault. It's my fault as a parent. And I remember this. Okay. I remember this. I remember sitting in a room full of parents. Okay. And I just retired from football. So I was maybe 32, 33 years old. Okay. And my kids are playing soccer. And I think this one year in soccer, we sucked. We went like, oh, and whatever it was, and all these things. And the kids are feeling bad and, and they suck. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, they do suck. They wasted our time this year. I don't care how old they are. Okay. 0-12 is not satisfactory. They're losers. Okay. What do we do as parents? No, no, no. Let's have a pizza party for them anyway and give them a participation trophy.
Yep, look. That resonates with me because my son plays soccer. And
so
he plays D1 soccer. But when he was younger, when we first moved down to Florida, he's playing on a team. Mm-hmm. And he's the best player in the team, right? But I give him the business. The coach knew I knew soccer. So he let me yell at my son as much as I needed to because I'm not holding him accountable to everybody else. I'm holding him accountable to his potential. And I had a mother come over and say, why are you so hard on him? He's the best player on the team. And I'm thinking in my head,
because he's the
that's
best
why
player
he's the best player on the team.
Correct.
That everybody gets a trophy? No.
No,
Mm.
no, no. Okay,
You know,
but
I'm glad. The reason why I brought that up is not only because it was part of the next question, but I understand, and I know you was at home, but I wasn't at home when I went to college. I was 2 hours away,
hmm
so I couldn't just hop in the car and go see mama.
hmm
Now, in my point of view of this NIL deal, if they don't get controlled, there is no. To me, college sports will never be the same. There's nothing to go to college for. It's just to go play
Well, but
sports.
but time out. You gotta. They say student athletes, but these colleges are making a ton of money off the
No, no,
backs of these
I
student
get that.
athletes.
I get
So
that. I get that. But if and here's this is my point was, if you're gonna give me $2 million coming out of high school to go play college football, right? You think I'm really gonna be looking at them books? Unless you got a mama like mine,
facts.
uh, who was, let's go stop at the dean's office when break came. That little Christmas break you get before you go into bowl season. Let's go and find out that your son is ineligible, about to be put out of school.
Yeah, but
These
some
are
of
the
that
things.
that's some of that's on the it's obviously it's on the players themselves first and foremost. Because you can only be
Mhm.
accountable for yourself. But it's on the coaching
Now,
staff, the coaches.
I do believe in this, and I know we kind of tapping off into a little bit further.
let's get into it. Let's get into it.
We are tapping off a little bit further into this. Um, I do because when I went through, and when you went through, Jeff, there was
Mhm.
days you couldn't eat because you ain't had the money.
Man, absolutely. Like my children don't know about the ramen. They don't know nothing about the ramen noodles. Man,
Yeah, and so a lot of these kids now, yes. Do you think they need to get some money? Yes, I do. But do you think a lot of these kids need to, come from? I don't want to put nobody's family upbringing down, but some people, if you never had money and now you just became a millionaire at 18, it kind of changes things in a way.
yeah.
Well, I'll say this. I'll say this from, and I want to make it a kind of a universal thought process from the kids that I coach, and I have 5 kids as well, and my oldest son is a scout for the Kansas Jayhawks, and my other son behind him is actually in the Air Force, stationed in DC right now, at Andrews Air Force Base. So, focus and detail operation, all those things that have been consistent with my kids, and they play football and athletics too. But I say this about these kids and about mine. I talk about talking to them the same way. I say, you know what, you guys are the most distracted kids I've ever seen in my goddamn life. Okay, and what you
Amen.
have and what you have to understand is that, see, you're gonna run across, I'm gonna be very blunt here and say this, you're gonna run across a guy who's a total asshole like me. And I don't care about where you come from. I don't care about your background. The only reason I am here is to break you in half. I don't care about your NIL deals. I don't care about my NIL deal. The only reason I put on this helmet and shoulder pads today is to probably try to break your leg today based on how I'm feeling. Because I love to be competitive that much. Gladiator mentality.
Mhm.
And
Amen.
at a certain point in my career, I surrounded myself with a room full of men who felt the same way. So we weed out all the naysayers, as we say. That was kind of our approach. And maybe that's old school. Maybe that's a little old school now. But because it's old school, it's so different than the kind of kids and the kind of men that you play with and the questions that's even asked of these guys that are playing out here today. So, you know, again, we as parents, we started this by giving them the trophy for being losers. Okay, and this is what we get. Okay, now we got to give them money, And some of these guys are not even college players. Okay. But they get the bag, that's all they want, and they go home. So until there's some business structure in the NIL deals and stuff, this stuff goes on the high school level as well. Now, it's not just college, it's high school kids too. And until there's some kind of business structure, because this is business. We talk about millions of dollars on all levels. So when we talk about millions of dollars, we talk about, well, they're not necessarily amateurs anymore. They're pros. So now we have to have pro structure. Okay. Unions. Okay. Lawyers to fight for, this kind of structure, salary caps, all these things to make it an even playing field. Because we're going to see Ohio State playing for the national championship every year. Who has the budget like Ohio State?
Right.
Okay, that's what we're going to see. So it has to be some cap structure, just like the NFL and just like other professional entities, and not continue with the amateur status, which is makes this the wild, wild west right now in college football.
See, thank you.
I like
Thank you
it.
for all that insight. I'm done with my questions. Come on, brothers.
Jeff, you got any more? Jeff, you got any questions?
I got a couple more questions, but we're going to talk about. I'm gonna just going on this right here. Like, I never want to stop a young man, a young woman from getting the opportunity to make generational wealth, right? I just wish there was more education around it, right? Because this may be, in a lot of cases, these players that may be big in college may not even make it to the pros, or may not, right? So this may be their opportunity to get generational wealth to provide for their family. I don't want to stop them from getting that, but I do wish there was things put in place so that they could better manage it, better handle it, and the education around that money. So I just wish there was some things put in place to, yes, it is a little bit too much wild, wild west. I just don't want to prevent somebody from being a millionaire because we say arbitrarily, well, they should make $1 million. But I'm gonna tell you, if a player can get $1 million, how much of their school, how many hundreds of $1 million are the schools getting?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. There's always, circumstances in which you have to weigh your options. I think, again, if you have the personal assets, if your portfolio speaks volumes and is going to carry you to this kind of financial status, okay, then yes, maximize your opportunities. I don't think it's wise to not predate your opportunities to think that, okay, well, look, if I'm playing at LSU and I'm making $2 million, you can't be greedy by going to Ohio State to make $4 million. When in 2 years you're going to be making $30 million playing in the NFL. It's probably more committed and more, profound to stay where you are and build history there. Well, that kind of athlete has kind of died out now. Okay, these guys are on 1-year contracts. So, you don't want to take advantage of, take away the opportunities, but just understand the kind of player that you're dealing with when you draft this guy. Is the commitment level there? Yeah, to his next check. Okay.
Well, see, I think NIL deals should be same as scholarships. They're 1-year deals, right? A scholarship is a 1-year deal that gets re-upped every year. And people think the scholarship is for 4 years. No, it's not. It's 1 year. They tell you that. So have the NIL deal structured around the scholarship.
I do not disagree with that thought. The only thing I will disagree with, and this is universally, is that this is business. Okay, this is $1 million business. And we have kids mixed up in $1 million businesses. You have high school kids now and college kids who have agents. When you have that kind of structure, you have to create a true business model, unions and a salary cap. And if it were me and I was in charge of the NCAA making the decisions, I would tell these punk ass kids that you can't play college football anymore. We're going to take away all the NIL deals. Now where you going to play football at? And here's how we're going to pay you kids now. Okay. every school is under the salary cap where you give a kid a stipend,
Yep.
okay, for enrolling at your university. From there, you get incentives based on your performance. If you meet them, you get paid this. If you don't, bye. Okay, because you
Yeah,
have to make the team and you have to play it like that. So how about taking the belt out a little bit and put a little spanking up under these kids behind and
I'm
stop
all for
giving them
that.
out and stop giving them these participation trophies all the time.
That's that new age parenting. I'm a little bit older too. I'm 50. My children are. My youngest is in college, so yeah.
Yeah. You know, when we step up and be adults here
There you go.
and don't let the kids run the chicken coop here. You know, so how about this? No NIL deals. You get a stipend, you get a signing bonus for going to the school, and everybody gets, 15 grand or whatever it is. All right. And on your planning centers, that's how you get paid. But I'm not giving you $10 million come out of high school. Are you crazy?
hey, that's what they doing, and
Okay. Yeah.
it's crazy. And
Yes.
you got kids that are transferring just for money, not for education, not for being taught, getting or a new look to move forward. That's
Correct.
why I'm impressed and I'm happy with what Indiana is doing. They got all those kids nobody wanted, and look where they at. National championship game.
Mhm.
And that proves the point, what Indiana is doing. That is not about, having a $50 million budget to pay a bunch of kids. It's not about that. It's
Yeah.
about being where you are. It's about buying into the system and taking care of what the real business is between those white lines. I mean, you take care of that, the money is going to come anyway. I mean, if Signetti signed a 90 something million contract because he took care of the business on the field. So
Yeah.
you know the money is going to come. It's a byproduct of taking care of the business that we have to take care of as a team.
Yeah, I
So
think I saw a stat on Indiana that the average age of the kids was like 23. That means they've been in school for a long period of time. Most of them are older and they're probably graduating, right? So there's a big difference between 18 years old and 23.
Yep.
So
and look, it may change the dynamic of what we see in college football. It may change it. We'll see. We'll see what this does because a lot of people now are going to be paying attention to what Indiana is doing, and we'll see how that ripple effects take over in the Big Ten and across the league.
absolutely.
I like it. All right, gentlemen,
Yeah,
any more questions for Mr. Wally Williams?
well, he answered all mine. I told you I ain't had no more. He got me.
Look, I'd end up talking to him for 2 hours. And then say,
Yeah.
hey,
Look,
I'm on my way to Ybor right now. Where you want to meet at?
we can have a real conversation. This is a real conversation, and an understanding. I'm a offense coordinator here in Germany, in the
hmm
German,
hmm
and it's a teaching moment every time I walk on the field, and it's not negative. It's positive. A lot of times, you could tell because you got to sit there and they're like the Germans are like sponges. You get a sponge wet, they're gonna soak it all in.
hmm hmm
When when these jokers are like, I had to explain to them, this is not the NFL. Number one,
Mhm.
the field, and they were like, well, they do everything we do. No, they don't. So I had these conversations. I was like,
Right.
did you realize the hash marks are different, which changes the how plays actually work? And they'll go look. That's college. That's high school. NFL's a lot different. You have to understand these things. And now that I'm breaking down these barriers, you can see the positive coming out of now they understand more. Now they see why I do things as an offense coordinator compared to um, other offense coordinators they had before. You know, I'll be honest, I would love for you to come over and speak to some of these young men not just my team, but a lot of these other teams, because they need to hear the truth. They need to hear it from somebody who played at the highest level. So I appreciate everything you just said, and what you're telling me is telling me from as a player and a coach. And I was a player and a coach. So I agree with you with what you're saying, because I'm trying to get these kids to understand. And some of these players are getting paid. They ain't getting no millions of dollars.
Right.
They just getting money to offset their time. And it's good to teach these guys, like, hey, this is what you're doing wrong. This is how you fix it. This is what I want you to do next. This is what we're going to learn today. And that part of it, that's what I love about coaching over here. I ain't got to deal with too many big egos. I know who my best player is. And if I ride him, I know I'm going to get the best out of those that are not that bad, much better. So I appreciate it. So
Yes, not a problem, man. I want to give you guys some information. When we are we still on?
yeah,
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, I want to give you guys some information about that, especially where you are in Germany. Now, one of the trademarks and one of the specialties that I've always been working in and found a great place to engineer my players and to keep them, all these things is with offensive linemen. And offensive lineman is offensive line has always been a skill that, we always took in high regard. It's just like a boxer or anything else where it is a skill set. It is a body position, is a strength coordination deal. This is part of developing, power, developing strength, and using all your mechanisms that you're born with to generate force and to be able to move another human being, that's probably, talk about moving a guy that's 360. Well, you just don't wake up in the morning and just have that kind of strength. You have to put your body in those positions. So conceptually, we have, a company. One of my teammates has a company, Charles Bentley, OLP, O-line Performance, and there's a sister company over in Germany that I'm sure you guys probably have seen some of the equipment that we use, and it's strictly for the offensive linemen that we teach. And the NFL has made marks and expanding the game. We talked about NFL Europe and those things earlier before we got on, but look, having a presence over there and being what this game is trying to be. But the business model, what the NFL is trying to do, is actually trying to create the same thing as the NBA and create a international sport where we're able to have more players come in and participate. So developing players over there in Germany and developing players abroad is of high interest of a lot of people, NFL and players alike. So look, in any kind of way I can be a part of that and work with guys and generate that, that is something that we all want to do because it's a beautiful game to play. There's a lot of opportunities out there for you, and whatever platform you can, have and be able to use the sport for, is going to make it, that much more pleasurable and to share many more stories, with guys beginning and how they learn the game. So I would love to be a part of that and help out as much as I possibly can in that area.
yeah, I would love for that to happen. I might have to go ask my team president, see how we can make that happen. And, and I'm being honest because of the simple. It's like I've seen since I've been here and I've been coaching in this league. I've seen a couple of kids, but they were just a little too old now.
Mm-hmm.
That if they would have been in the system 2 to 3 years earlier, instead of I'd be like I'd rather to sponsor them to send them to a college to get them even better. There's German players that has played in high school and gotten college scholarships, but once they came back to Germany and then they became high level players in Germany as Germans.
Right.
So and that that aspect of it, it also helps these other players, especially when they transition from being a player to a coach. They're taking the same knowledge that I learned, we learned, and applying it to a German in their language. My German is not that great. I can understand more than I can speak. So, that's that blessing that I wish. That's why I'm saying I would talk to my coaches. Yeah, the NFL is making big moves over here for the German football programs, but the thing is, their program is actually large. You talking about three? Like my team is in the third league, and there is four different divisions of the third league around the country, and they go all the way down to the seventh league. So you talking that's a lot of teams, and you can grow the players like they do over here, like they do in soccer here or European football. They got lines of kids playing, waiting to get in.
Yeah,
But
yeah. People in the States don't understand, international football like that. They don't understand that the game is expanding, okay, in that kind of way. Unless you're around it every day or kind of into the ins and outs of it, you don't look at these games that we're playing in Mexico. Okay, you're not looking at the games that we're playing in, you know, London and Germany, and then what you have to do is start paying attention to the rosters. Okay, when you look at where we're playing and understanding that, man, there's a lot of Polynesian dudes in the league now. There's a lot of Spanish dudes coming in the league now. And what his name is this Schnitzel Negel. Where's he from?
yeah,
Okay, all
Yeah.
these guys like that. Okay, it's a lot of names that you can't pronounce coming in the NFL, just like basketball. Okay, we didn't know who Luka Doncic was when we drafted. Like who? Number 4, Luka who? But
now you
hold on,
see,
you see what I'm saying? So the NFL is moving into that spot. You're going to start hearing about somebody. You're going to hear somebody in Russia. Okay, give it 5 years. Okay, you're going to hear about an offensive lineman in Russia being drafted in the first round. We don't know where the hell he came from. Okay, just like we hear sometimes, a kid being drafted from Canada.
Yeah.
Okay, so these is going to happen. The international game is going to happen. Okay, in the NFL, it's they're reaching out too much and doing too many things. Okay, behind closed doors. Well, it's really not behind closed doors. It's in plain sight, but we're not looking at the gravity that it's having with the young men now who are in these foreign cities now who can see the NFL and say, okay, well, I want to be like a Trent Williams, an offensive lineman, and I'm an 8th grader, and now I see that I want to be like him and start developing on that same level, just like a kid will be doing in the States.
Yep.
So it is moving in that direction. I have no doubt about that. In 10 years, I have no doubt there will be a NFL team in Europe.
Multiple.
Okay,
That's
no doubt about it.
They're trying to do what the Dream Team did for basketball. The NFL wants to do it as well. They want to have multiple teams in Europe. So, as you said, I wouldn't be surprised to see one in Barcelona. I definitely wouldn't be surprised to see one in Germany, one in London. I wouldn't be surprised to see some players from the Kiwis. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
They're testing it out right now. That's why they're having games right now to see, okay, can we do this, and can we add this into the schedule, and can the players physically take playing in-season games abroad, okay, in Europe, okay, in Mexico, in South America, okay. We've seen this in season, so they're testing it right now. They're not doing it just to be doing it. They're doing it to expand the league and expand the operation to make this an international game.
Absolutely. Chris, you got anything else?
no, sir, I'm good, sir.
All right. We asked Mr. Wiley before the show started, and he said he wanted to stay around for our picks. So our next segment, we are moving right on over to the NFL. All
Mm.
right. So Chris last week went 5-2. Jay went 6-1. I went 5-2, and Jeff went 6-1. Chris, you're one game behind me.
My
This
goodness.
might be the week you catch me. Jay did good, but he way behind. We would have to extremely mess up for him to catch us. And then Jeff, you joined later in the season. So, all right, starting with that. The playoffs are here. Our first game of the playoffs. We have the Los Angeles Rams versus the Carolina Panthers at the Carolina Panthers. Excuse me.
Hey, don't go running, Chris.
Now the Panthers beat the Rams in the regular season,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah,
So
Mr. Williams, he's our resident Rams fan. So
yes,
You just mad y'all ain't make the playoffs.
I knew I wasn't gonna make the playoffs before the season started, so I ain't mad about a thing.
I knew I wasn't making it either. I mean, we ruined the Bucks' season.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyhow, so we got the Rams at the Panthers. All right. Whoever wins this game moves on to play Seattle.
No, not necessarily. NFL does reseeding.
They reseed.
Yeah, but well, more than likely. No. It says Seattle. So this is what their bracket's saying. As of right now.
Right now.
That's right.
So, gentlemen, who y'all got?
Let's let Mr. Williams. Let's the
Rams
first.
Rams.
That's what I'm talking about.
Easy.
I know it's going to be a wet Saturday in Carolina. But I think my Rams are going to be prepared this time. We ain't going to have no auspicious fumble to cost us the game. Rams win. I think it's going to be closer than I think it's going to be closer than what it was, what they're predicting because of the weather.
Gotcha. Our buddy Jay, who is not on the show today, he said the Panthers.
That's why he in last place.
Last place is right.
Jeff, what did you say?
I said, well, I'm picking the Rams. I agree with Chris. I'm actually just trying to see what the spread is on that game, but
10.5.
Yeah, I think it'll be closer than that. I think the rain's going to slow it down. You're not going to have as many big throwing plays, so that plays to Carolina because I don't think Carolina has as many dynamic players on the offense side of the ball. But I think it's going to be closer than people think. But I got the Rams winning this one.
Look, I'm in agreement, and I think Devontae Adams sitting out last 2 weeks. I think he's going to be eager to get back on that roster and catch some passes and show what kind of impact he still has on the game. So I'm taking the Rams.
All right.
All right. So we only have one taking the Panthers. All right. So now we have the Green Bay Packers at the Chicago Bears. I think it's supposed to be snowing up there. I'm not sure.
I'm going with Chicago on this one. I'm going with Chicago on this one. I think the Bears are they're not Super Bowl ready. I don't think they're ready to compete in the Super Bowl, but I think they're for real. I think they have some young guys on that team that are some solid players, and the Bears are going to be good for a long time. So I'm going with the Bears. I think Jordan Love and that, look, I know the running back is great, but that receiving core is still shaking, and you have a shaky performance with Jordan Love and that snow. So I'm going with the Bears at home.
Okay. Jay also went with the Bears. Just so everybody's tracking. Mr. Wally, I think you hit it on the nail on the head. I think Green Bay's also got some offensive line issues.
Mhm.
And I think Chicago, look, is Caleb Williams Patrick Mahomes? No, but he's doing what he's supposed to do as the quarterback, and he's managing the game. And then the running backs, Chicago's running backs are dual-headed, and they're killing everybody. So I'm going with the Bears.
I'm taking the under.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I just want to see if that was gonna fly. Let me see if that gonna fly. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. Last game went to overtime. It was a big play to win. I'm going against the crowd, and I'm going with the Packers.
Oh, well, thank you, Chris.
Well, look, by the way, that wouldn't be 3 times because the Packers won on Thanksgiving, if I'm not mistaken.
100%.
Oh, did they win?
Packers won on Thanksgiving. Chicago won in overtime a couple weeks back.
Jeff, he doesn't need. We don't need to give him no help. I need to pull an extra game ahead.
Yeah, I'm going Chicago. I think Ben Johnson is probably maybe coach of the year. I think he's done a great job with Caleb Williams. They got 2 hidden monster running back, and they have a very opportunistic defense. I don't like what I've seen from Green Bay. I think they have too many injuries. Micah Parsons hurts because now they can double down on the other defensive end for Green Bay, and that the back end where they have so many injuries in the secondary is now going to be exposed because they're not going to be able to get to that quarterback as fast. So I got Chicago winning that.
All right. So,
Man, I'm making a comeback.
who is?
Get back in first place.
You got to win the games to make a
Oh,
comeback.
I already won. What are you talking about?
All right, our next game. The Buffalo Bills are traveling down from New York, going down to Florida to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now,
Buffalo's not coming to Florida and winning. So I got Jacksonville. This heat is going to rip them a new one. So they're not going to come down here and win. Not this late in the year in Florida. If they were playing in Buffalo, a home game, I would give it to Buffalo. But nobody comes down here from up north and wins. So just on that alone.
I like it. I got you written down for Jacksonville. Chris, you probably know my pick, don't you?
No.
I
actually I do. Yeah.
I said it at the beginning of the season, did I not?
Yeah.
Who am I picking, Chris?
Probably Buffalo.
No, absolutely not.
I know exactly.
Hey, Mr. Wally, at the beginning of the season, I told everybody, I said, look out for Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence has to get Jacksonville into the playoffs and not weekly, not being a weak team, but being a strong team.
Hey, well, you did say that, and I also did say that Carolina was going to be a problem. And look where they're at in the playoffs.
Just breaking news. I don't know when the show airs and all those things, but we talk about that transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The starting quarterback for Nebraska, Rayola, who dad played in the NFL. Okay, all those things like that. All right, starting quarterback just transferred to Ole Miss. There you go.
What?
Oh.
I thought they was talking about him going to Oregon.
Ole Miss.
Oh, wow.
That's the business now. Okay.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're live, and Mr. Wally Williams just brought in some breaking news for us.
Breaking news. There you go. Transfer portal's in full effect today, gentlemen. Full effect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking Buffalo.
Dang, man, you really going backwards.
Bro, I'm going forward.
Oh, okay.
Jay can't spell. I don't know what game is.
Yeah. So
I don't know what police off is either.
Right.
Go ahead, Jeff. What you got?
yeah, I got the Jags. I'm actually been surprised with how well Trevor Lawrence has played. That defense was really good at the beginning of the season, and so can maintain that. I don't like all the excuses I've seen for Josh Allen starting weeks ago. He doesn't have weapons, even though he has a leading rusher in the league. He doesn't have this. He doesn't have that. Come on, man. I've already seen all the built-in excuses for one of the darlings of the NFL. I think Jackson. I don't see Buffalo having been up north for a while, coming down to warm Florida, and I think they're going to play a team that's up for it. And I think the Jaguars are going to beat them.
All right. Our next game, the San Francisco 49ers are going to play the Philadelphia Eagles. What's the weather? Who are you taking?
I got the Eagles.
You taking the Eagles?
Yeah, it goes against my conventional wisdom, but after watching the 49ers play against the Seahawks defense, that was the blueprint right there. And the Eagles have the defensive weapons to nullify what San Francisco likes to do on offense. It's just a matter of whether or not their offense is going to give them enough to get over the hump. So I think their defense they can rush with 4 and stop the run and limit Purdy to dump offs out of the backfield. So their defense is what it needs to be. But I think I just need the Eagles to get enough offensively. So if I'm San Francisco, this was probably the last team that I wanted to play first round of the playoffs, and I think they're going to take an L.
Excuse me. That was everybody's pick, right? Everybody pick?
No.
Yeah, I'm going with the Eagles on that one too. I think the 49ers can be a well-oiled machine when healthy. They don't have all the pieces in the equation that they need to have for that team to be a well-balanced team. So you lose a couple of guys on defense, really use Warner, but you lose a couple other guys back there too. And that defense would be very handicapped. So it's going to be very important that Trent Williams plays. If Trent Williams is not there, I think it's over.
That's right.
But I think it's just all the pieces on. They need everybody running for the 49ers to be a well-oiled machine. They don't have that right now. So I'm going with the Eagles.
Mr. Williams is here. Every game for game, he sees it just like I do. Look, I see it just like he does. Let me give respect.
Come on. I think Mr. Williams got to step out, so we need to kind of pick up the pace a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So Jay picked San Francisco. Myself, I'm taking the Eagles. I can't go against Jalen Hurts right now in the playoffs. And
if I did say, I said the Eagles too.
Right.
So Jay's the only one that's saying 49ers. All right, next one. We got the Chargers at the Patriots.
Patriots.
Even Harbaugh's my guy, but I got to go with the Patriots.
So Jay said the Patriots as well. Y'all all said the Patriots. So Chris, here's your pickup game. I'm going with the Chargers.
I'm really picking up.
There you go.
The Patriots have done.
Look, I might end up 2 games in front.
But the Chargers had a tougher schedule than the Patriots did this season. So I'm going with the Chargers. Our next game, the Houston Texans go play the team that barely got in, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who y'all got?
I'm going with Houston. I think their defense just looked too much.
I got the Texans as well.
You taking the Texans as well?
Yeah, that offense, Aaron Rodgers not going to want to. Yeah, he's not going to want to hold that ball. I got the Texans.
I'm taking the Texans. Yeah. Jay's taking the Texans. Mr. Wiley, who are you taking?
I'm taking the Texans. This is a bad matchup. I think, the Steelers' offense is not explosive. And even with DK Metcalf coming back, I don't think it's going to be that much of a deal because their secondary in Houston will shut him down and take him out of the game. So somebody's going to have to win the game for him. I don't think they have the personnel to do that. So Texas all the way on this. And I think the Texas are going to blow their ass out too.
Mm.
Just to add that cherry on top of that one.
Yeah, let me drop a little spice on that one.
Right.
I hear you. All right, Chris.
So, sir, we know you short on time. If there's any thing you want to bring out to the public or opportunity of any type of charity or anything like that, this is your time to speak on it before you go and before we thank you again for being on our show. This is your time, sir.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to be on this platform. I think what you can learn out of this conversation that we're having right now is that I'm more of a universal guy who wants everybody to open their eyes and open their minds out to the opportunities of what athletic brings, and it's not just about being on the field. We make more money off the field, believe it or not. So open your mind up to those opportunities. Me myself, you can find a lot of these things that I post on my social media pages on Instagram, Wally Williams _63, or Wally Williams on Facebook, on X, same thing, Wally Williams 63. And within my company, Williams Training Systems, where we train offensive linemen, and we have all those things which are posted on Facebook as well. So, all these platforms are there. And then, of course, check out our podcast, the Ed Block podcast that comes on, every Wednesday, Thursday, live on YouTube, and we post our shows there for you to check out what we do with the Ed Block Courage Foundation and how we raise money for orphanages across our NFL cities. So, be active in your community, be active in promoting yourself, and of course, continue to grow. Those are the things that I advise and continue to kind of stress as long as I have an opportunity to be out here with and enjoy the company of these beautiful young men that I'm having this fun with today. So thank you again. And I look forward to the next opportunity to speak with everybody.
Thank you, sir. I will definitely be in contact because I'm going to try to get you over here just to run a camp for us, for a lot of these teams over here. So thank you for being on our show today. I know I'm going to give my partners a chance to thank you also.
Hey, sir, thank you very, very much. This means a lot, not only to me, but to everybody that works on this show. And got to do a shout out to Jay for getting you on the show, because it's not easy getting people on the show, right? Everybody's got busy schedules. Thank you for taking your time out. I know you're on vacation, and I hope you have a continued wonderful vacation.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Williams. Appreciate you sharing the time with us, the knowledge with us. We'll go back through here. I want to make sure that we're able to post up all the things that you just mentioned, so that gets out there as well. Maybe I have to go out to Ybor to get a couple cigars, and maybe I'll look you up.
Hey man, I'll be right out here. I know I'll be out here. I'll be out here all day today.
Yes, sir.
All right, fellas.
All right, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
We're gonna take a small commercial break. We'll be right back. We are back. What you got for me, Mace?
Hey, welcome back from the commercial break. We have a new segment. We've been letting him have his own little beast, right? But now we finally decided to finally title it. This is Jeff's portion called The Red Carpet Report.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank y'all for the red carpet. Introducing the red carpet report, going strong, 20 years plus strong with no red cards to the name. So, this weekend is international soccer. A little bit light what's going on, but a couple things of note that have taken place. So, first of all, we got the African Cup of Nations going on. We have 2 games today: Algeria taking on Nigeria, and Egypt taking on Ivory Coast. Winners of this game will enter into the semifinals to join Senegal and host team Morocco. Again, I think we said this a couple of weeks ago. Morocco, Senegal, Ivory Coast, probably the 3 favorites, really with Morocco standing out. So stay tuned for those games because those 2 games take place today. And then semifinals is the 14th. So definitely some good footy to watch there. Last week I spoke about Chelsea dismissing their coach, Enzo Maresca. Well, Manchester United decided to follow suit, and they terminated their coach, Ruben Amorim, which has probably been a long time coming. He's really underachieved since being at Man United. Was really stubborn with the system and the formation that he was playing that really is not conducive to winning in the Premier League. And then I think he got frustrated because he wasn't getting the transfers in that he wanted. And he basically took shots at the board, demanding that the scouting team continue to do their job and demanding that the board continue to do their job, basically saying, bring him the players that he wants. So at a team like Manchester United, as big of a platform as they are, probably the most valuable football team in the world, if you take those shots out there in the open and you've had a below average at best performance since you've been coached, that will get you terminated as well. Right now, old-time player Darren Fletcher is taking over for them, but we'll see what happens as that moves forward. So in England right now, it's not any Premier League games. They have the FA Cup going on right now, and the beauty of the FA Cup is teams from higher leagues play teams from lower leagues that normally wouldn't play each other, and so you may play this team once every 30 years or something of that nature. It's great when it's great when the big teams go to the small places and play those teams. Additionally, it's great when the small teams go to the big stadiums because of the revenue they bring in. So, a couple games of note. So, Wrexham, which is the media darlings of the U.S. because they're owned by Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, they beat Nottingham Forest. So, Nottingham Forest Premier League team, top division versus Wrexham, which is a division below. They won in penalties. They tied 3-3 and won on penalties. So that was a big result. And then this morning, Macclesfield beat a Premier League team in Crystal Palace. Macclesfield plays in the 6th tier of English football. The 6th tier, and they just beat a Premier League team. So that is what the FA Cup brings out. So it was definitely an interesting game to watch. It's the reason why we always talk about styles make fights. And, we know who should win, but it depends on what you do on the pitch. And it was clear that is the spectacle of the FA Cup. So hats off to Macclesfield there. Elsewhere, today it's a quiet day of games in Europe. Only game of note is Roma plays Sassuolo. Roma's 5th in Serie A. Sassuolo's 11th. Games pick up tomorrow. And I would encourage everyone to tune in definitely tomorrow as El Clasico takes place. Barcelona versus Real Madrid All eyes on Real Madrid to see if Kylian Mbappe is going to recover from his knee injury and be able to take place in this game. But this is talent like you've never seen on the same pitch. It is the rivalry of all rivalries when it comes to football or football. So I would encourage everyone to tune in and watch that game tomorrow. It'll definitely be something to watch. In Germany tomorrow, runaway leaders Bayern Munich take on Wolfsburg. So if they win, they'll extend the lead to the top of the league by 11 points. So, I mean, that's German league is pretty much already over with. Bayern Munich clearly above everyone else in Germany. Closest contender was Borussia Dortmund, and they tied yesterday. So, in the FA Cup tomorrow, Premier League leaders Arsenal take on Portsmouth, my old stomping ground. So Pompey, they travel to Fratton Park to take on Portsmouth, which would be a good spectacle to watch. Elsewhere, West Ham plays QPR, which is going to be a London derby, and then Manchester United takes on Brighton, which is another Premier League team. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there now that they have a caretaker coach in place. And in Serie A tomorrow, top 3 teams are in action: AC Milan, Inter Milan, and Napoli. So only 4 points separate those 3 teams. Looks like it's going to be a very interesting race to the end of the season there. But that's pretty much all we have for today or this weekend for soccer news.
All right.
Hey,
Go ahead, Chris.
Was there a record broken or somebody? I think he's American, like goals or something this week.
Not off the top.
I'm not trying to troubleshoot you.
No. Hey, that's I'm gonna have to look that one up.
Because I was trying to look it up too, but I'm asking for that.
Not that I was aware of, because we don't have any. So MLS has been done. We have a limited amount of American internationals playing abroad. Chris Richards played today for Crystal Palace, but most goals by American.
5,000 goals or some craziness. I don't know. 5,000, I know it's way too much.
Yeah, I mean, we have. I think Ronaldo's coming up on 1,000 goals, and I think Messi's coming up on 900 goals. So there's been some chatter about that, and obviously people are going to compare. They're always going to compare who's better, Ronaldo versus Messi, and now especially the younger kids like Messi, and I can't argue that. But Ronaldo, in his own right, has done more in different places. So I think it's a worthwhile conversation. But 1,000 goals is 1,000 goals. I had this conversation with my son and one of his teammates the other day. They were talking about Erling Haaland, striker for Manchester City. And they were like, you don't think Erling Haaland's going to be able to outscore Ronaldo? And I said, you got to do the math, right? For Erling Haaland to come to get where Ronaldo is, he would have to score 40-plus goals a season for the next 15 years. I'm like, I don't even know if he's going to stay healthy if he's going to play for the next 15 years. 40 goals a season for the next 15 seasons. That's how dominant of a player, that's how dominant of a scorer that Ronaldo's been. So
look, health plays a big factor into that.
It sure does, right? And so
hey, Father Time's undefeated.
That's what I'm saying. So 15 years of 40-plus goals, that's just a testament to, like, Ronaldo for me is like LeBron. The way that he takes care of himself, the way he trains, the way he takes care of his body, because he's been able to have that level of longevity and continue to play at such a high level. Is Erling Haaland going to be able to do that? And again, I give Ronaldo a bunch of credit. He did it in the Premier League, went to Spain, did it in the Spanish League, went to Italy, did it at Juventus and Serie A, and now he's doing it over where is he? So
Saudi?
Saudi? Yeah.
Saudi, yeah.
So, and the level of Saudi's play is better than MLS. So to do it in that many different places, that many different styles of football, and be able to stay healthy for that level of time and play multiple different positions, because he used to be a winger, and now that he's gotten older, he's transitioned to a striker. I'm gonna tell you, my hat's off. I look at him, I look at LeBron. The fact that they're able to run around and still be relatively explosive athletes at 40 plus years old, man, hey, that's something different. That's something different. I don't care what sport you play.
Right. All right.
All right.
We're gonna move right along. We'll change it up a little bit today. Move on to the college football. There were 12 teams. We are now down to the final 2. Gentlemen, we will not be picking, we'll make this clear, we will not be picking any college games this week. Why? Because we have a show next week and then they play, right? So, with that stipulation.
And we know Jay would switch anyway.
Yeah, you give him too much time.
He gonna switch. That's right.
So we're gonna recap some of these games, right?
The 2 games.
We're gonna recap the Miami versus Ole Miss game first. Guys, that it was an exciting game. That came down to the wire. What was your thoughts?
Well, I do believe that somebody said last week that those defensive ends is going to force Chambliss to run, and he's going to run into a linebacker.
Yeah.
Oh, who was that guy? Oh, me. That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. So what I thought about, it was a great game, number one. And it is still with what he scored the winning touchdown with like 30 seconds to go. And then there still was a
31-27, yeah.
And then there still was a play in the end zone that Ole Miss could have won the game with.
Yeah.
That was very exciting.
Yeah.
That's the one time that Ole Miss defense they were doing their job the whole game. They were limiting a lot of Miami from doing things until the last play where they've been spying Carson Beck, who's not a true running quarterback, but he's been killing teams with, the little, nobody's open. All right, I'm going to go get 3-4 yards. Mm-hmm. And on that last play, they didn't spy him.
Yeah.
That was a very good game. Very, very, very good game. I wish Jay was here.
So,
because I'd be poking that bear.
Well, look, you weren't the only one who said that it's just a matter of time before the defensive ends and linebackers catch up to them. So, because of this team speed that Miami has, for me, I was most looking forward to that game because I thought it was going to be the most competitive game. I thought it was, it pit a high-powered Ole Miss offense versus a dominant Miami defense in terms of strength and physicality and speed. So for me, it was more of Carson Beck needed to just manage the game and not make mistakes. Get the ball to his playmakers and let them do what they do. As long as he stayed mistake-free. Now, I will say this. He should have had 2 interceptions in the first half. He probably should have had 3 overall. A lot of times he was waiting till the receivers were open and throwing the ball. And if the corners were a little bit better, they would have jumped the routes and have been a bunch of pick sixes. But instead, they were like in back of the receiver. And yeah, I thought he should have had at least, there probably should have been about three interceptions that he should have. But Ole Miss's defense, in my opinion, failed them. Like Miami had 3 drives of 14 plays or more. Like and did they have? I think they had over 80 offensive plays. That's a long time for your defense to be on the field. And that last drive on the last play when they scored the touchdown, Well, just that last drive, they never changed. They kept on only rushing 3. And
Yeah,
dropping 8.
no, the last play they rushed 4.
The last play they rushed 4, but the drive they only rushed 3.
Yeah.
Right, and they had a spy. The fourth rusher was spying Carson Beck.
Right, but as soon as they all ran from left to right, I think he got caught up in the sauce and let Carson Beck just creep out to the left and walk right down to the end zone. So I give credit where credit is due because I've never been that big on Carson Beck.
Me either.
He played clutch when he needed to. And I thought Malachi Toney was a problem all night long for Ole Miss. So and then Mesidor and Bain did what Mesidor and Bain do. So for me, it was probably it was the game that I was most looking forward to watching, and it didn't disappoint. Like I stayed up the entire game to watch it, and had the roller coaster of emotions, and I didn't have anything on the line because neither were my team. So it was a really good game. I think it was really good for college football. As much as the U is my team's rival, it's good. It's nice to see them back up at the top. And it's also interesting to see where's the SEC at.
Yeah, the SEC has gone home.
What? Say what?
There's no SEC team in the championship game. Fourth year
Hmm.
running. But I want to comment a little bit, right? So, Chris, I like what you're talking about on the defensive ends with the linebacker and everything, right? Of that Chambliss was going to have to run it. I think Ole Miss's offensive line, got to give them credit, right? Because when you say stopping 2 defensive ends, right, at a level, right, it's really not so much stopping; it's more of a contain, right? I think the offensive line did a really good job of containing the defensive ends better than other teams have. But it opened up because they did so good. It opened up the lanes for the linebackers. So there's that balance, right? There's that caveat. And then Jeff, you mentioned Carson Beck with his possible interceptions. Granted, Miami's or Ole Miss's defense let them down by not securing those interceptions, but Miami's defense also let themselves down because there's times I think there was 3 or 4 passes that Chandler should have had picks, and Miami just didn't secure the ball. So that's just kind of way that game was going. I agree with Tony. He was anytime Carson Beck was throwing him the ball, they were getting him. Ole Miss made a couple of mistakes, and when Ole Miss's defense made a mistake, it was huge because Carson Beck exploited that. When Miami's defense made a mistake, it was not so much huge; it was more minuscule, right? So, but yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the game. Looking forward to seeing what happens with Ole Miss next season, especially since Mr. Wally gave us the breaking news of that quarterback going to Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably made that decision after Chambliss got his 6th year denied.
Yep,
So,
absolutely. And the bad thing for Chambliss is this is a breakout season for him, but he's probably going to be a day 2, day 3 pick. Because he's not 6'2", right? He's not 6'2", he's too short.
But we talked about this also on the show, right? Is a day 2, day 3 pick bad? You're still making it to the NFL, right? And then you might go to a good team,
but
right?
The difference for me is if he was 6'2",
right?
He's one of the top 3, top 4 quarterbacks that comes off the board, especially given what he just showed at Ole Miss this past year. Because who came out of Ole Miss last year? Jackson, right? So, hey, we like that style. We see that style, that offense is conducive to having success in the NFL.
Well,
You
you got
just
to
have to have
remember.
you have to have the measurables.
Well, you got to remember, Jeff. That whole coaching staff is going to LSU,
That's
except the head coach.
I'm what I'm saying is, if he was 6'2", given that he just played a season in Ole Miss's offense and had a lot of success, the NFL would have said, we just saw what happened with Jackson Dart and how that offense, and he was able to transition from Ole Miss to the NFL. They probably would have looked at Chambers the same way if he had the measurables, and unfortunately, he doesn't. So,
right, but he's not going. Even if he would have got his 6th year, he's not going to grow.
No. What I'm just saying is, if he was 6'2", he probably goes in the first or second round.
Yeah, I agree. But here's the funny part: that 6th year, that extra year that he was asking for, that would have put him in the first round if he had another good year.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Chris, but I'm just saying he's not going to get taller.
No, he's definitely not going to get taller.
Jeff was talking about his height. I'm saying he's not, even if he stayed another year, he's not going to get taller. If he would have stayed another year, it could have probably boosted his draft stock. One, depending on the quarterbacks coming out next season, right? And then 2, he'd been able to showcase his talent a little bit more to see if it's consistent or whatnot, right? All right, so we're going to move right along. Our next game was Oregon versus Indiana.
All Big Ten.
This was this guy. Oh my God. Go big. Which one you saying when you say that? Come on. All right. Indiana blew Oregon out 56-22. It was closer in the regular season than it was yesterday, guys.
What
happened to Oregon?
Look, that was a blowout. That was a true blowout. The points that they scored late were garbage points.
Right.
And that game was it was over at halftime.
It was over 12 seconds into the game.
That too, that throwing that pick 6 on the first pass of the game, first offensive play of the game.
You can't do that against a team like Indiana. I talked about this before. Their average age is like 23 years old. So you have physically more mature players, mentally more mature players who understand just to do their job. They didn't play as many. They don't have as many underclassmen. And they have shown that they are the most consistent team this year, week in, week out.
Mm-hmm. They play with a lot of vigor. They play with a lot of chips on their shoulder.
Yep.
And it showed even before the game when they were doing the interviews with some of their players. They all felt like they had something to prove. You know, the stat was they put out, Oregon has 55 5-star players.
Mm-hmm.
Your roster is 75 in college. Let that sink in.
I don't believe in all that anyway. I think depending on who you get them stars.
You're right. But look, just think about how many players that Indiana starts that was 0-star, 1-star, 2-star.
No, they were 2 or 3 stars, but they were 2 or 3 stars when they were in high school. Mm-hmm. They've been in college for 4 or 5 years now. Guess what? I'll take that 2 or 3 star that's when he was 18, but I bet you he's a 4 or 5 star right now. Now he's 5 years older.
Oh yeah, he's developed.
Mm-hmm.
He's developed, you know, and you see it in basketball right now. You know, the players.
That's why Kentucky has not won in a very long time.
Yep. You can't, you know, it's all about chemistry and it's all about coaching. You know, Mr. Wally Williams, he made some good points as far as, you know, if you want to be a player, you want to get to that level, you got to learn how to get there.
Yep.
And I think Mr. Signetti from Indiana is starting to figure it out. Oh, not starting, he's figured it out.
Yeah.
He's figured out. Yeah, Google me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he is truly standing on business. You know, he like, we're gonna be the best team. We're gonna be disciplined. Because if you watch the game, Mendoza had 2 incompleted passes, if I'm not mistaken.
3. He had 3.
Okay,
3.
He threw for $177 and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you that, and this is, I think, the second game in a row I've seen this from him. They are lethal. They're not flashy, in my opinion, but they just no nonsense. We're gonna get you on the field, we're gonna smack you around, and we're gonna go about our business.
Yeah.
And we ain't gonna stop. We don't
No.
care what the score is. We're gonna keep slapping you. We want you to know that we're better than you.
As it should be.
All right.
It's funny because when you say it that way, right? I'm about to say it again differently, same way. If I give you hope, you're gonna come back stronger. But if I punish you every chance I get, all you're gonna be more susceptible. Like, I already lost. Look, before the kickoff, game over.
Yep. You don't.
That's what.
You don't want that. Like, I want. You know how sometimes we'll talk about games, say, you know what, you know that team, all right, they would have won 7 out of 10 times. No, Indiana sits there and says, you know, when you finish playing us, 10 out of 10 times we were going to wax you.
Yeah.
So we want you to be beat before the game. We want you to go in at halftime realizing, bro, we ain't got a chance. I don't care what coach is talking about. We ain't got a chance. Hey, what they saying? I remember the Titans. Run it up, Herman. Leave no doubt. And that's what Indiana does.
Yeah. Look, I think Indiana has obviously had a great season and everything, right? Like you said, Jeff, I think they're the most consistent team. However, I do have to put credit towards the teams that they played during the regular season, because going to Eugene, I think, helped them prepare for the playoff role, and even their struggle win in Penn State, because that wasn't a home game, that was at Penn State. Winning these games on the road builds that resiliency, and now they've been the home team. Now it is going to be a little interesting, right? Because their next game,
Orange Bowl,
they're going to be the home team, but they're really not going to be the home team. You're in Miami territory, so.
But you know the funny part about that is,
what you got?
They are not the home team. They're truly not. But if they go in that game, that very first drive, they get that ball and they walk down the field, you're going to have a problem.
Yep.
And they are not problem. They're primed with big games.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I was getting to, Chris. But I think those wins and those on the road.
On the road, yeah, they're going to make a difference.
Especially in the tough locations, have prepared them for what's about to come, right? Because, I mean, you hear people about Eugene, Oregon. You hear Penn State fans, Alabama fans, Ohio State fans, right? There's certain universities you're like, man, I don't want to go there because their fans are just ruthless, right?
That's right.
Well, now you're about to go to Miami and
try
to win. So, well, we never did do our next thing. So we talked about the games. And this is how everybody fared for the week. Yeah.
Lead dog. Lead dog.
We went 2-0. Myself and Jeff went 2-0. Oh, Jay. So Jay picked Indiana, but then he also picked the Ole Miss. So he went 1-1. What did that do for him? Oh, that gave Chris the lead. So that means we have one more game. Okay. Now, here's the stipulations.
Jay has to pick first.
Well, yes, but if Jay picks the same team as Chris, then Chris is automatically going to win, right?
That's why I said you have to have Jay pick first. Otherwise, Jay's going to pick opposite of Chris.
If he picks opposite of Chris, right? And Jay wins and Chris doesn't, we've got a stipulation in for next week. Here's what it is. The one closest to the total points. I don't care if you go over. I don't care if you go under. If they score 60, you say 62 and the other person says 59. Whoever says 59 wins. Got it?
Got it. So, hey, you know what? I'm wrong. Mace.
What?
They're going to have to send you their picks next week. They're going to have to send it to you before the show.
Okay.
Because the other thing could happen.
Chris
can
do
sit there and say,
that.
I'm going whichever way Jay is because I know I can't lose. So,
all right, so we'll have that. We'll have Jay private message me and then Chris private message me.
There you go.
Go from there.
Got it. Then you announce it on the show.
On the show.
Absolutely. Will do. So
hey, that's impressive though. That's impressive that after this many games throughout the entire season, that's close. Like it coming down to the last game, it's impressive.
Hey, Jeff, just for your knowledge, it wasn't like that in the beginning. Somebody else was leading the pack by numbers and got ran down.
Chris, it's okay.
He said, "Why you got to talk about old stuff?"
Look, I ain't been in the league for weeks, man. Come on.
Oh man.
I ain't been up there for weeks.
It's been a long race, man. It's a long race.
It is. And Jeff, you've had a great season too, but Jeff, we look forward to you next.
Oh, we got to freeze.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you got to capture that picture.
We're gonna move on over.
Use that.
Too.
Yeah, we got to use that. We should have screen captured that look.
You froze up.
Hey,
did I miss something?
Yeah, you froze.
Oh, okay. All right, so we're gonna move on to our lightning round.
Well, before that, there's some. I got a couple of little announcements. That's happened this week.
In the lightning round, or
it could be a part of the lightning round. Yes, okay. Go ahead. Hit it.
Go ahead. You want to hit it?
Yeah, I'll go first. So the Atlanta Falcons named Matt Ryan president of operations, and he's going to be there to help them find a new GM and new head coach.
I like it.
I don't.
You don't?
What experience does he have in that?
He
was a longtime player for the Falcons, and okay, take Julio Jones in. I'm just saying, what experience does he have?
He doesn't. He probably doesn't. He doesn't have as much, right? But he's got more than Arthur Blank, and what Arthur Blank is doing is.
He froze again. Boy,
it's an ice. It's an ice.
Oh, bro, we probably are getting hammered, and I got to get out in here in a minute. So we're gonna let him unfreeze and come on back with us in a second or two. But I think that was I think they're trying to find some common ground to bind the players to the front office. So he's, being that he's a former player, he's trying to twist that up and get get things right. I'm gonna drop him because it looks like he a little bit froze. And then you going, yeah, he dropped out.
Okay.
So he's probably coming back at in a second. And he's going to be a little bit on the hey, this guy's gonna be good. But I do wish that some of the players were involved with the situation on hand. So what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to bring up the script.
Oh, I got it. So
all right,
we got
you take the lead because
I got it. And there's actually something I really want to talk about in the time we have left. Because we could talk about the NBA, we could talk about college basketball, women's college basketball, NHL, but no, we're gonna talk about Black Monday.
Oh yes,
sir. Because we got a lot to talk about there. So
that's gonna ride us out.
That's what I said. So for me, looking at Black Monday, right?
Hey,
welcome back, mate.
My bad, my internet just went out.
All right, so we're talking about Black Monday, right? So all in all, even including the coaches that were terminated before, early in the season, we got 8 coaches who have been fired this year in the NFL. Mike McDaniel, Jim Harbaugh, Jonathan Gannon, Pete Carroll, Kevin Stefanski, Raheem Morris, Brian Daboll, Brian Callahan. So you got 8 possible destinations. If you were a coach, and I'll ask, and this is for both of y'all, which destination would you prefer and why?
That's a tough one.
I know.
Your top 2 choices. My top 2 choices would be Baltimore and believe it or not, Cleveland. And the reason for that is there are certain pieces already in place. In Cleveland, you got the defense that's in place. I just need as a head coach, if I was going in, I need to go and fix the offense. Get the offense in line with the defense, right? And in Baltimore, I would just change the philosophy.
Chris, I'll ask you. I'll ask you. In Cleveland, do you really have to change the offense? Because if you watched ever since Shedeur has taken over, the offense seems to be headed in the right direction.
Yes, I would change the offense.
Okay.
But I would make the offense more. If Shedeur is going to be my number 1, then the offense should be not. I ain't saying built to him,
right? But
something that he can feel comfortable in and do the things that he does well.
That makes sense.
So even if Dylan Gabriel was the starting quarterback, he's not a bad starter.
No,
but you gotta line.
I wouldn't want the Cleveland job if that was my starting quarterback.
They got some good draft capital in
Mace.
Go ahead.
Which would be your ideal landing spots if you were a coach?
See, it's tough, right? I mean, look. So if you take the Oakland, I'll say this: if you take the Oakland job,
Las Vegas,
or Vegas. Sorry, if you're taking, let's just say the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
If you take the Raiders, right, then even if you don't pick the quarterback or whoever picks you're picking a quarterback, okay. The Raiders have some good pieces on the offense. They can with Brock Bowers, Gentry. If you get a young quarterback in there, and then the defense isn't so bad with Crosby on there. They got a little tighten up, right? But you could probably get that throughout the free agency or draft, right? Because we don't even know what free agency is going to look like yet. So the Raiders wouldn't be a bad place. I would think. I agree with Chris though. I think if I'm going to add the Raiders to the list, Cleveland, Baltimore, and the Raiders are really the top 3 choices because everybody else, like I love my Falcons, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of work to do on the offensive side and the defensive side. So, what about you, Jeff?
Yep, I'm in agreement. I wouldn't touch the Miami one. I don't. I think that is a franchise that's in disarray.
That's the worst situation.
Yep, from the top down. Ever since that whole Brian Flores mess, I wouldn't touch the Dolphins one. Yep. I think Baltimore with a couple of tweaks, especially the common sense one. I got Derrick Henry in the backfield. I need to run the ball a little bit more frequently, and then I think Lamar would be better using off of play action anyway. But I got to tweak that defense. That defense was not a typical Baltimore Ravens defense this year, but I still think that's one of the best spots. I wouldn't touch Arizona because they need a quarterback and talent, and it seems they're dysfunctional.
You do realize Arizona needs a quarterback. Mm-hmm. They have talent. Their defense is good. They need to be able to put it all together. I'm not even gonna say Kyler Murray's not the guy. To me, he's just too short. He's a short quarterback.
Right. So for me, I wouldn't touch Arizona. I also thought about the Raiders because you got the first pick, so you'd be able to pick the quarterback that you have. Mm-hmm. I don't like the amount of money I'd have to pay Gentry because I wouldn't have taken him that high. I'm not going to take a running back and pay him that much money, not in today's NFL. I don't like the wide receiving core. Crosby is 28, going to be 29, and he wants big money. And you're going to have to really build a lot.
You got to make a decision with Crosby.
Right. Yep. So I'm not sure I want that one.
Now, the question is, would they be third or would the Giants be third?
Yep.
They got everything there.
So, hold on. I'm going to get there.
That's true.
Cleveland, I like Cleveland. To your point, Chris, they already got that defense. They got a good defense right there. You need a number one wide receiver because Judy, like Steve Smith said, he's a jag, just another guy. Right. He's probably a number 3 at best. So you need a number 1 wide receiver and you need offensive line. Because that offensive line, people keep talking about Shador trying to run out the back. Well, he's run out the back because he can't step up in the pocket. So it's that simple. So, but I think that's not too far away from being in a contender and a hard out in that division. Mm-hmm. I don't like Atlanta. Atlanta just doesn't seem to all kick at the same time. If the offense is clicking, the defense isn't. If the defense is clicking, the offense is ham, no burger, peanut butter, no jelly, Kool-Aid, no sugar. All the time. So there's something about Atlanta I don't want. Tennessee, I would not touch because they have zero talent. I feel bad for Cam Ward because I don't think that team has talent anyway.
Again, they have defense. They don't have offense. They only got Cam Ward and DK.
Oh, and I like Simmons too. Simmons is a monster as a DT. Yeah. And then on GP, because I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm not going to pick the Giants. So I can't do that. I have a quarterback who I think he wants to be like Josh Allen, but he's not as big as Josh Allen. So he's going to keep running around, and someone's going to end up knocking him into 2 different places at the same time. You have your top wide receiver coming off from ACL injury. You got a defensive end who apparently likes to watch porn in meetings instead of paying attention to meetings. I wouldn't want to touch the Giants.
They have the team. They have the young talent. They have the people to move forward.
They do.
They need somebody to take control. That's the number 1. They gotta have somebody to take control.
So, but I think we're on agreement. Baltimore's probably the top destination for a team that can compete and probably be dominant over a few years stretch then. And I think we're all in on Cleveland with the right tweaks. And then I guess we differ between the Raiders and the Giants, but there's a couple on here that I wouldn't touch.
Well, there's a couple on there we all agree on not touching.
That's right. Look,
Now,
that's going to be a short tenure.
But I'll say this, right? Picking that team, right, depends on if I'm a veteran coach or if I'm somebody that's getting an opportunity to become a head coach for the first time and take over a team, right? Because if I'm that young person who's never been a head coach, right, Miami or somebody else might be it. If somebody offers me a head coaching gig and I've never been a head coach, I'm taking it. I'm getting my feet in the water.
I'm a little bit different. Because
if you turn that down,
yep.
When's the next opportunity?
You don't know if the next opportunity is going to come, but I think it just depends on you. Like for me as a person, I'm secure in where I am. Right. If the next position the next promotion presents itself and I don't feel like it's the right fit, or if I don't feel like I can be successful in that role, I'm probably not even going to apply for I'm probably not even going to apply for it.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with Miami. Too many Chiefs, not enough Indians.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible quarterback.
The players are running the asylum.
Yep.
So you're going to have a choice to make when you go to Miami, right? And it's not the head coach. It's not the new head coach. It's going to be the GM.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you keep and who do you get rid of?
Yep. Right,
that's the key.
Yeah.
Well, it's time to close out. First, I want to give a shout out to my fellow co-host that couldn't be on here live with us. He's been in the chat, just chatting away. We had to stop posting his comments because he always talking. Jay, I hope everybody enjoyed the long distance playbook. I want to thank Mr. Wally Williams for his insight on college football, NFL. He has a very, very good insight. I want to thank our guests that were in the watching our show. I'm just a little tongue tied. I hope everybody be safe. If you're in Germany, you ain't got to be on the roads. Don't be on the roads. I got to be on the road. I got to go get food. So y'all be safe. Do the right things. We will see you next Saturday right here, 4 p.m. German time with the long distance playbook. Be safe. Have a great one.